Back to the broadcast. Thanks for being with us.
Brandon, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Let's go, if we can, to this clip because Kirk Cameron has come out and he is now telling us who the Antichrist was. Listen to this.
In Revelation 13 is demanding that everybody worship him or die. And then they're also saying that wisdom is needed here to identify who the beast is. And you're either going to take his name or you're going to take his number. And the number is 666. Now, with regard to the number of 666, I'm not into numerology. That's sort of spiritual voodoo, hocus pocus, weird stuff. But Hebrew gematria is a real thing, and you already understand the concept of certain letters having numerical value. So 666 is the number, I believe, of Nero Caesar. You have the numeric value of the letters of Nero Caesar, who was the first century Roman emperor who was persecuting the Christians. And this gave John, the author of Revelation, a way to indicate to his fellow believers who this beast was because of his name representing the numbers 666 without forthrightly saying his name, which would have been very dangerous for him.
Okay. Joining me now is Dr. Woods, who, by the way, Dr. Woods, didn't you do your master's thesis on Nero and 666?
Yeah, when I was at Dallas Seminary, I focused a lot of my academic work on trying to refute preterism. My doctoral dissertation was trying to show that Jerusalem is not a fulfillment of the prophecies of Revelation 17 and 18 when Jerusalem was sacked by the Romans in AD 70. But when I was in the master's program, I wrote I think around 90-page thesis on why that interpretation that he's giving. And it's kind of shocking for me to hear all this again, because I thought I was working on something back then, that was just archaic. But it was trying to refute the idea that Nero is the beast using gematria. And it was actually published in a book. I'm going to try to hold this book up. It was co-edited by Tim LaHaye and Thomas Ice. It's called The End Times Controversy. I have a chapter in there along with countless others refuting the doctrine of preterism. So this is actually something I know pretty well.
So was Nero the Antichrist, as Kirk Cameron says?
All right, well, here we go. Off the top of my head, as Rush Limbaugh used to say, with half my brain tied behind my back, because I did not go back and reread my thesis. But here are 7 problems with what he's saying. Number 1, the date of the book of Revelation. For his system to work, he's got to believe that Revelation was written in the 60s to make it a prophecy about AD 70, and nobody believes that. Everybody believes the book of Revelation was written in AD 95, going back to a clear statement Irenaeus made. Irenaeus being one generation removed from the Apostle John. Number 2, notice how Kirk Cameron is taking numbers literally there, using 666. Well, I thought this was the same crowd that tell us that 1,000 years is not literal, 144,000 Jews is not literal, etc. Number 3, in order to get this to work, he's using gematria, and it's an idea that ancient alphabets, Greek and Hebrew, had numbers associated with each letter. So you could take everybody's name, spell it out in the original language, attach the right number to the right letter, and it would yield a total. And he's trying to argue that 666 equals Caesar Nero. And notice that he doesn't tell you that this only works in Hebrew, doesn't work in Greek. And that's a big problem, because when John wrote the book of Revelation, he was writing to a Greek-speaking audience, the 7 churches of Asia Minor. And when John wants to be understood in Hebrew, he's explicit. He says in the Hebrew, this means, as he does in Revelation 9, verse 11, Revelation 16, verse 16, but he doesn't do that here. Number 4, he's got to attach the title Caesar to the name Nero. if you don't attach the name Caesar or Kaiser to the name Nero, the calculation doesn't add up to 666. If you just use Nero's name by itself, it doesn't add up to 666. And that's a problem because when you look at Revelation 13, verse 18, it talks about the name of the beast. It says absolutely nothing about his title. I think we're at number 5. Number 5 is this whole idea that 666 equals Nero. That's an idea that wasn't even invented until the 1800s. And that's very interesting to me because there's no trace of this in church history until it came from liberal German rationalistic scholars in the 1800s. That's fascinating to me because this is the same crowd that always accuses us of developing our dispensationalism from the 1800s, which, by the way, is not true, but that's the accusation level against us. And so this is a case of physician, heal thyself, because they're doing the same thing with this 666 thing. Number 6, I think, Ron, this is a product of liberalism. It was German liberal rationalistic scholars that came up with this, and all Kenneth Gentry, who developed all of this, is doing is he is taking concepts from German rationalism, liberalism, and bringing it into evangelicalism. And this was picked up by Gary DeMar. He's doing the same thing. And now Kirk Cameron is sort of an empty vessel, an empty suit, a useful idiot, someone they could pour their corrupt doctrine into because he happens to have a big following. And then finally, number 7, the details of the text taken as a whole don't fit Caesar Nero. For example, if Nero is the first beast, who's the second beast? And what does it mean when it says he calls fire down from heaven? We have no record of that back in the 1st century. And what do you do with the universal language?
Okay, about there. More with Dr. Woods on the other side. Dr. Woods, pick it up where you left off, please.
Well, I was getting to my 7th point as to why the beast is not Nero, and it has to do with the rest of the details of the text. Who's the second beast? What does it mean when the second beast, called down fire from heaven? What do you do with all the universal language in the text about the whole world worshiping the beast and not taking those that don't take a mark on their right hand or forehead will be persecuted globally? I mean, when did that ever happen with Nero? And then it talks about a singular image. The noun is singular there, set up in the temple that the masses must acquiesce to. When did that ever happen in Nero's reign? I mean, the best I can come up with is Nero setting up multiple images, but never this kind of singular image that speaks. So in summation, I know that's a lot of information, and people can go to the book, The End Times Controversy, to get all this. But here are the 7 reasons why Kirk Cameron is just regurgitating a tired, old, dead horse that's obviously been passed down to him from German liberals to Kenneth Gentry to Gary DeMar to the empty suit Kirk Cameron. Number 1, the date of the book of Revelation prevents this. Kirk has got to date this in the 60s to make it a prophecy about the 70s, and yet nobody believes that. Everybody believes Revelation was written in the 90s. Number 2, why is he taking the number 666 literally here when all the other numbers in their system of Reformed theology are allegorical? Number 3, why is he resorting to Hebrew gematria to make this work when John was writing to a Greek-speaking audience? Number 4, he's got to toss in the word Caesar, Nero's title, to get the summation to work. And Revelation 13, verse 18, just simply says the name of the beast, nothing about his title. Number 5, he's relying upon an idea that doesn't surface in church history until the 1800s, which is the same thing they accuse us of concerning the rapture. Number 6, he's borrowing from German liberal rationalism. I bet you he has no idea who came up with this. He's just regurgitating it because it sounds good, but he's just bringing liberalism into evangelicalism through this nonsense. And then finally, number 7, the details of the text don't fit Nero at all. Who's the second beast? Who is this one that calls down fire from heaven? What do you do with all the universal language of the entire world worshiping the beast? What do you do with the singular image that talks? There's nothing like that in Nero's reign. So when you put all of this together, what he's saying is, and he might sound good saying it because he is an actor, and actors are really good at memorizing lines and spitting them back in a believable way. But when you actually scrutinize what he's saying, um, this idea that he's regurgitating, it's just silliness. It's fanciful. And it's something that evangelicals should reject. And so that's my quick summation with half my brain tied behind my back.